So when I originally got the Vatic Pro Saga, I expected it to play like my Vatic Pro over here, my Flash. It ended up playing more like the Prism. The Vatic Pro Saga, it's Vatic's new flagship paddle. How does it play? What do I think about it? You've probably already seen some of the other reviews, so let's go ahead and get into it. All right, so a lot of the reviews that you've seen have gone to your standard reviewers, and those reviewers have gotten both models of the paddle for free in order to test them out. I had to buy mine, so I am a Vatic affiliate. I did get a discount on this because I'm an affiliate, but I still had to pay for this thing, which is why I only bought one instead of buying both of the available models. If you want to know how the V7 version of this plays, you can check out a number of other different reviews. You've probably seen a lot of those other reviews, and they're going to tell you that they play a lot like a Prism, but with the power of a Flash 16 millimeter. And I'd say for the most part, that is true. This is certainly a control paddle that delivers power when you need it. And I think that's the key here, and I think that's what's really unique about this paddle. A lot of paddles, they either give you power when you don't want it, or they're so plush and so control oriented that you can't deliver the power that you want. So basically, if you took the 16 millimeter Prism and this 16 millimeter Flash and put them together, you get this. So I'll flash the specs for you up here on the screen. The two things that stand out are, of course, the core, which they say is locally sourced, which a lot of us paddle reviewers are interpreting as from here in the US, and then maybe the core is sent over to China to be put in the paddle. And this has 10 millimeter core cells, and then they have a custom blend for the surface. And I think if you check out John Q's review, you can see all the kind of detailed under the microscope type stuff. When this paddle was first announced, I thought for sure this was going to be a replacement of the Oni. Vatic said this was going to be their new flagship paddle, and so I kind of presumed they were going down the Oni path with a Gen 3 paddle. But instead, they kind of flipped the script, went with a Gen 1.5, and they decided to make this paddle that is pretty difficult to categorize. I think most people have been categorizing this as a control / all court paddle that leans towards the power spectrum. I think one of the ways to describe this paddle is an all court power paddle. I know that sounds weird, right? But it has power on demand, and when you put a full swing into it, it completely delivers. It feels the same in my hand as any one of the other flash-shaped paddles. I will say it does feel a little head heavy compared to the other ones, but that can easily be balanced out. I'll probably end up putting another overgrip on this thing to balance that out so that it feels a little more lighter in the hand, a little faster in the hand. Do I think that this is a successful paddle? I think so. I think this is the type of paddle that a lot of people who are moving up, who've played with a control paddle, but aren't really confident enough to play with a power paddle, I think this is the paddle for you. You want to start getting a little bit more of a power game. You've got your game dialed in, but you just don't ever feel like you can put away the ball or drive the ball hard and fast. This is going to be the paddle for you. So you switch from that control paddle to, instead of an all-court paddle, an all-court power paddle. If it seems like I'm having a little bit of trouble kind of expressing how this paddle plays and how it feels, it's because it's an odd duck. And I think part of that is because of what I was expecting. And instead of just kind of letting the paddle come and playing with it and figuring out what this is. So let me see if I can summarize my thoughts. Here are the 3 things that you need to know about the Vatic Pro Saga. Number 1, you're going to be able to control the ball at the kitchen line and also when you're dropping the ball. I think the 10mm cells give you that dwell time on the face of the paddle so that you're able to do that. Number 2, as with all Vatic paddles, this thing is grippy, and so that you're going to be able to add top spin, add slice, add back spin, any kind of spin that you want when it's needed, and get your serves dipping and get your dinks dipping as well. Number 3, the combination of the 10mm cells in the core and the proprietary face that they've put on this is going to give you power when you need it, which is going to be on your drives and your putaways. So check out my link in the description below, as well as in the pinned comment if you want to pick one of these up. With my link, you'll get an additional $10 off, bringing this paddle to $140, which for a flagship paddle is a great deal. You're not going to find very many paddles under $200 that are this high quality and with a 1-year warranty. So check out the Vatic Saga today and get playing.